What's up, guys, and welcome back to another video here today. We're going to be doing something a little different today. We usually run the deck through a modern competitive league, something like that. I'm thinking about trying something different. Now, instead of playing established or kind of developing decks, I thought let's play some more fringe decks and really get some games to test the deck's viability. So I brewed up here just a quick list of Esper Geist, a list that I think would probably be pretty strong against a wide array of decks. And I thought, let's test it out. So what we're going to do, we're going to run it through, maybe 3 or so practice matches. And I'll try to screen them, make sure they're competitive matches, of course. But in general, I just want you guys to get some good games in there. And it's going to be easier for me and also easier on my wallet, unfortunately, instead of running it through a league and crashing and burning while still making content for you guys. So that's the plan here with what you see here. So let's go ahead and talk about the list. In general, the deck is going to abuse Geist of St. Traft, paired with cheap discard spells rather than cheap burn like Jeskai normally does. So you have these cheap discard spells to basically clear the way for Geist, and then hopefully turn 2 you can remove a creature or Serum Visions or something like that, some combination of disruption plus draw plus removal in order to land a turn 3 Geist. And then ride him to victory and clear the way. And then it also is going to abuse a different synergy, which is Collective Brutality and Lingering Souls. Now, pitching Lingering Souls to Collective Brutality is one of the best things you can do with Collective Brutality, just because you're basically not down a card, as you still get to cast Lingering Souls from your graveyard. And what's nice about Lingering Souls is it kind of buffers Geist of St. Traft in the sense that all of their removal is going to be pretty poor. Lingering Souls goes wide, and Geist has hexproof. So the Lingering Souls kind of helps protect Geist against sacrifice effects, while also still making your opponent's removal worse, and in general being a great card during a grindy matchup. And what's nice also about Collective Brutality is you can always point it upstairs in the sense that it can deal 2 damage to your opponent. And this kind of just helps it act like a burn spell in a sense. Now, running 3 Brutality main deck could be a liability against decks like Grixis Shadow. However, Lingering Souls, Geist, Fatal Push, Path, and Snap all make that matchup much better, and Collective Brutality really helps the burn matchup quite a ton. And then we also have Cryptic Command at a top end, kind of just tap your opponent's team, maybe a tempo play, or grind out a game like sort of Esper Control style. And then we also have Tasker at the top end. Basically, it doesn't play too well necessarily with Lingering Souls and Snapcaster Mage, but we're going to try it out. I still think it's a pretty powerful, potent threat, as we have a fair amount of fetches, some very cheap interaction here, and a turn 3 Tasker could very well something that this deck can pull off. So that's the deck. Let's talk about the sideboard. We have 4 spell bombs, basically just to say screw you, Dredge, Living End. Even you can bring in 2 to 3 copies against Grixis Death Shadow. Ceremonious Rejection is going to be great against Eldrazi, Affinity, all those kinds of decks. Stony Silence as well, same idea. We have Blessed Alliance, both as Burn Hate and Death Shadow Hate. You can bring it in against Affinity to deal with as Champion. A whole bunch of different things. You have Counter Squall, it's kind of like your negate of choice, but it deals 2 damage to your opponent as well. So that helps push forward your game plan a little bit. And then you also have 2 Supreme Verdict here, also as just a hedge against Grixis Shadow and other go-wide decks that we may have trouble dealing with in general. But that's going to be the basic outline of the deck. Hope you guys will enjoy the games coming up soon. And hopefully you guys will, even though it's not going to be a competitive Modern League, you guys hopefully will still see some good games coming up here. Alright, so stay tuned for those, and I'll see you very soon. Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome to the first match here with Esper Geist. Let's take a look at our opener here. It looks pretty good. We have Thoughtseize, we have Removal, we have a Lingering Souls to play, and we have a Cryptic Command to work towards. That looks like it's going to be castable with basically any land we draw, so yeah, that looks like a keep to me. We have Fatal Push to interact as well. This looks like this could be some sort of control matchup. Thoughtseize should do a pretty good job here, though. See what our opponent is on right now. Let's go ahead and strip them of Cryptic, because Path to Exile is not the best against us. Not the best against us at all. And then we have Fatal Push to actually answer this Colonnade, which is nice down the road. Alright, so they played one of their flooded strands. Here we can, wow, now I wouldn't mind like just getting a Path to Exile here. Yeah. And next turn, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. And next turn we can just jam Lingering Souls. And yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good line. So control matchups are good when they don't draw their sweepers, just because we're a control deck. I mean, we're a Jeskai Geist deck. As foretold, interesting. So we can't stop that, but we know they have no cards in hand. So we can go ahead and play this Hallowed Fountain tapped. And I'm wondering if maybe Tasigur is just the better play here than Lingering Souls. It's going to be the much faster clock, and it's going to be easier to remove. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go for the Tasigur here. So we know their hand is just 3 lands. So now we've landed a Tasigur. We want to dodge Path to Exiles off the top. There's one of their flooded strands. And drawing a land would be nice, but I'm going to go ahead and attack first. If they have Path to Exile, they're going to use it after when I attack. They don't have it, so I'm going to go ahead and try to jam Lingering Souls. And I want to use Thoughtseize maybe later down the road. Of course, Supreme Verdict would be pretty poor here, but then we always have Lingering Souls in the graveyard. Alright, As Foretold is working its way up there. Glacial Fortress, so they have, let's see, 2 unknowns in hand. Let's see. Snapcaster Mage is not a bad draw, not a bad draw at all. I do enjoy me some Snapcaster Mage, especially against control decks. Let's go ahead and Thoughtseize here. Wow, they just drew straight lands. All right. So we can put them dead on board here if they don't draw anything. And I think that's the plan here. They just have a bunch of lands in hand. Yep. They could have blocked with Colonnade, but it is what it is. All right, so Counter Squall comes in. I want to cut some number of Path to Exile because I think Fatal Push is the more efficient answer to Celestial Colonnade. Now, ideally, I'd cut them all. The issue is, of course, if our opponent plays things like Gideon Jura. Yeah, so we don't have much for the control matchup here. In general, we're doing pretty good against control. Maybe we can bring in some spell bombs to hedge against Snapcaster Mage. And it's also just a cantrip. But yeah, let's go ahead and run it back. We should, in general, have a pretty good matchup here. What with all our discard spells and Geist of St. Traft, we could find a pretty good opportunity to cast it. But our opponent flooded out pretty hard there. That was like, what, 8 lands total? Maybe 9? There were 5 in play, like 3 or 4 in hand. That's just rough. All right. Take a look at our opener here. We have Thoughtseize, we have Serum Visions. Yeah, I would say this is definitely a keep. And we have a bunch of Lingering Souls to really annoy our opponent. All right, they go ahead and do their Colonnade start. Ooh, okay, so I don't think there's any benefit to Thoughtseizing right now. I think I'm just going to go ahead and start with Serum Visions. I don't want to see either of these right now. And then we'll just go ahead and pass to our opponent. I'm going to go ahead and Serum Visions. So they might have kept like a 1-lander. No, alright, so they're fine. Here we can go Thoughtseize. Ooh, alright, so let's start with Thoughtseize. And then we can Inquisition if we need to. Alright, so I think Thoughtseize is going to grab this. Alright, so we have a choice. I think Thoughtseize grabs Elspeth and Inquisition grabs As Foretold. And then if they want to negate Lingering Souls, they can go ahead and do that. I'm not going to feel too bad about that trade. Especially because we have so many more Lingering Souls lined up here. Alright, So leave our opponent with negate and 2 lands. Let's see if our opponent drew something here that they want to play. Doesn't look like it. Now, of course, if one of these was a Geist, we would be in really good shape. But now we're just going to go ahead and jam a Lingering Souls. And like I said, if they want to negate that, they do not. All right. Which is, I mean, I still don't think we take negate there. All right, so now they have negate plus 2 unknowns. All right, so negate does stop snap Thoughtseize. So let's just go ahead and Serum Visions here. Geist is a great card. It is pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and just cast another Lingering Souls. And if our opponent wants to negate this one, like I said, also okay with that. Yep. And I'd rather them negate it when I spend 3 mana than when I spend 2 mana. Just that way down the road, I can have maybe a more efficient turn. Alright, so now we know nothing in our opponent's hand. They have two unknown cards, and they're going to have Celestial Colonnade soon, so maybe I should have kept some sort of Fatal Push on top. Let's just go ahead and start with our attacks. Those are the things that are happening for sure. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and lead with Geist. And we can't play around much here. So I don't think we play into a sweeper. I think we just go ahead and pass. Now, it might be important to go wide in case they just play another land here for Colonnade, and they do. So that's going to be their plan here. It would be nice if we had like a Fatal Push right now. Not quite Spellbomb. So we're going to actually go ahead and go Snapcaster Mage Thoughtseize to try to have our opponent use their mana right now. And that way they won't be able to rev up Colonnade this turn. So it's kind of like this trade. And it really depends on what our opponent might have in hand. Let's go for Thoughtseize, just in case our opponent is sitting on like an Elspeth or Gideon or something weird like that. Something good. Even though we lose 2 life here. Dispel and Spell Snare, both pretty bad here. So they could have Spell Snare my Snapcaster Mage, they didn't. So I'm actually going to take Dispel here. Leaving them with Spell Snare. And now I'm just going to play the Spell Bomb and probably crack it at their end of turn. Is there any reason not to do it at end of turn? I don't think so. And now they're just sitting on Spell Snare. I don't want to attack into Colonnade. That's the issue here. So now we pay for Spellbomb, draw a card. Inquisition, not the best here, but I mean it does grab the stuff out of our opponent's hand. And now we really wish we kept one of those Fatal Pushes on top. But as it is, let's go ahead and just start with an Inquisition of Kozilek. Path to Exile, Spell Snare. Interesting. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the Path to Exile. And I'm going to make that same play I made last turn. Now, they really, really want to... Alright. Let's go ahead and take the Spell Snare out of my opponent's hand to make future Snapcaster Mages work. And now... Let's see, do we want to attack? We can get in 8 damage this turn, but we lose Geist. Still think we want to get aggressive, though. We can just keep attacking. Yeah, I just think we want to get aggressive here. They can only block so much with Colonnade. And if they're spending all their turns revving up Colonnade, I'm okay with that. And so that's the reason we played Snapcaster Mage pre-combat, by the way. That way they couldn't have used that Spell Snare mana that they left up with Colonnade. Wow, they're dead on board? Yeah. Oh, they're not dead on board. No. Excuse me. Can't do math, right? We're one off. Let's just go ahead and play another Lingering Souls. And now they should really be dead to anything. I can't think of any card that gets them out of this. Yep. All right, we got it. That's game. That's one game against Blue White, as foretold. All right. So thanks for sticking around for that match, and I'll see you guys for the next round here in this testing time. All right. See you soon.